Hey everybody, it's Kenny K here, and you saw the title, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, right? The 2006 uh, found footage, 70% found footage movie, 30% conventional. Especially towards the end of the movie, where it basically becomes a full-on slasher. It's basically a slasher movie. This movie is especially, I mean, it is for every horror fan, basically, especially slasher fans. If you're a slasher fan, watch this shit. If you don't like found footage, it's more of a mockumentary footage, the documentary footage, right? It gets a 6.7 on IMDb, which isn't bad. It gets a 7 from me. It's a great movie directed by Scott Glosserman, and he's already in production with the sequel now, 20 years later, with all the same survivors of the first one coming back. You got Nathan Beazle playing Leslie Vernon, Angela Goodhouse playing Taylor, she's the reporter. Then following Leslie Vernon with a camera guy, I think Doggy and Todd. Two camera guy, I think one sound guy and a camera guy. Robert England as Doc Halloran, basically playing a version of Dr. Loomis. Zelda Rubinstein, if you've seen, she plays a librarian, Mrs. Collingswood. She's also, you can also see her in Poltergeist 1 and 3, but I never saw 3, so I only saw the first one time. And I think she plays like a clairvoyant of a paranormal team. Um, in Poltergeist, Scott Wilson, Eugene, of course, from playing The Walking Dead and many more movies that I just can't say which one right on the top of my head. You know, The Walking Dead. Uh, Eugene, an ex slasher who's retired, who basically lived in the era of Psycho and killed in the way of Psycho. It wasn't about the quantity. It wasn't about making. No, sorry, it wasn't about making all these. You had to do these slow burns. It was about quantity. And Bridget Newton as Jamie Eugene's wife. Actually, Jamie is a survivor of Eugene who got away, who kicked his ass, and they fell in love. So fucked up. This movie basically is a horror, dark comedy, found footage, but again, it's mockumentary footage. There are people that do survive at the end, multiple people, but it gets bloody. It's gory at the end. Now, so the basic story is they're following this guy called Leslie Vernon. He made up this story in Glen Echoes. It's this little town that Leslie Vernon is will come back with the first full moon, the harvest moon, and he will be clothed like this maniac in a overall and this weird mask with a sight, you know, like a hand sight, you know, for apple orchards where you can slash the apples off. And now they're following him, but he's actually this nice guy, but he can become psycho at any moment, and that's sort of like the serious stuff, where he can just grab at your neck and now stop it like this, and that's cool. He goes from funny to aggressive at one. A little spoiler: at the end, he even kills one of the crew members. And even when the guy's saying, Les, you know me, you know me. And he didn't want to do it, but there's a cool twist behind this movie, actually. If you never seen this, please watch it, please. For horror fans, slasher fans, and even some found footage fans. Again, the end, the last 20 minutes, 20 minutes when the slashers the slashing begins when Leslie Vernon can kill is conventional. Then he kills Zelda Rubinstein, Mrs. Collingswood. That's also conventional. And the beginning of the movie is conventional, with the girl running away. That's conventional. The rest is on camera, but the reason why they don't want to use the camera anymore is because it's normal. They don't want to film a guy killing people. You do have found footage movies, like what was that one, Long Pigs or something that I've reviewed about this cannibal who look. It's just two documentarians follow him around, and at the end thinks, oh yeah, I'm going to fucking jail. I'm gonna kill them. Yeah. So no, but even one crew member gets killed, and he even takes off the mask when, look at me, Leslie, look at me, and he even breaks his fucking head. So, not saying who that is, but I'm just gonna say it. I'm not gonna spoil too much anymore. But like I said, you have this alumni of horror people, I mean, Robert Englund and all these, and Zelda Rubinstein. Now Scott Wilson is he's in a lot of movies, right? But so in this movie, also in this universe of the movie, Michael Myers exists, Jason exists, Freddy Krueger, and he even talks of Chucky. Now, personally, I found 3 member berries, or what they call it, and I never noticed that shit. So, like I said, they're following him around. He's showing how he's going to work, and he's basically almost spoofing the entire slasher genre, because he's explaining what we know how a slasher is made. You got you got the final girl. A final girl is, you know, that kind of girl. And then he's explaining, like, he has to do a lot of cardio. Here's the scene.
How much cardio I have to do. It's ridiculous.
Why so much?
Well, you gotta be able to run like a freaking gazelle.
And if you can, he has to do that because everybody in the movie runs always, and he has to, and the killer always is walking, but he has to be fast like a fucking gazelle to keep up with them. So this movie is just one of my, I have to say, with found footage movie, it's an unofficial found footage movie, a mockumentary. It's in my top 5. It's just great. It's great. The ending song with Psycho Killer, Qu'est-ce que c'est? Pa 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 pa. I mean, it's just great, and they're following them, and eventually it gets to a point that there is a point of no return, and they have to follow, and you know what I mean. And Robert Englund, as a sort of Loomis, Dr. Halloran is following him, knowing him, and there's multiple twists in this movie, and the end twist is pretty cool. That Leslie actually, he's pretty smart. So, pros, like I said, the explanation of how a slasher becomes a slasher is so funny, and at the same time, it's true how these slasher films are created. The entire pattern is explained, like I showed you that clip. He's training. There's this clip where he's saying, like, oh, in the closet, a lot of people always hide in a closet, and we cannot get in the closet because if you, no, wait, we can't open the closet because the closet is like a womb. It's closed, right? And then the reporter says, oh, you're Taylor says, oh, you're pro-life. And he's like, here's the scene.
Is a sacred place. It's symbolic of the womb. It's the safest place to be because
Now
in the womb we're innocent.
That should already I mean,
So does
that
that mean
should
you're
be already
pro-life,
something
Leslie?
to watch, to get you to watch it. Now, there are three, and I never noticed this, but fuck. So in the beginning, she's explaining uh, the the killers of, and you got Crystal Lake, Jason. You've got they're showing Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. They're showing Haddonfield, Michael Myers, and here there are three hidden characters of these three movies. Not and no characters, not member berries basically. And I think the hardest one is from Halloween, but because that's a little detail. And I'll say it, but actually I would like to quiz it. If you no, I'm not gonna say it. If you're a horror fan, you should know it. Here's the first one.
Here on Elm Street, in the suburban community of Springwood, a murderer's repeated attacks have left a psychological scar so deep, some insist that simply dreaming about him can kill you in your sleep.
Excuse me, sir. Hi. I was wondering
So
if I could ask you some
you
questions about your former
basically in
neighbor,
this
Frederick.
one, it's a
And
person, okay? Then you have this one,
incidents, Halloween will never be the same. Who are these men? How do they do what
and
they
this
do?
one you should look out for a sign. And then you have this one.
It's what you call a girl like her who just might be able to walk away from me at the end of the day.
Okay, what is it about this girl?
Explanation of the final girl, but something in the background. I'm not gonna tell what. I'm not gonna tell what. The first is a person. The second is a sign. So, and the third one is a person too, multiple people. And to give you a hint, the first one is about Friday the 13th. The second about Halloween but I'm not gonna say which year. And the third one is Nightmare on Elm Street. There you go. So that's a pro on its own. What they're doing, and the acting is great, top-notch acting. I actually think they should have got some reward for this movie. I'm actually gonna change my score to fucking 8. The fucking 8. It's a bear. My pen is already going. It's a great movie. The outfit of Leslie Vernon as the killer is great. It's great. Or wait, I'm thinking there's no soundtrack because again it's a mockumentary. You do have that epic last song, Psycho Killer, qu'est-ce que c'est, para pa pa, run, 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 run away. Oh, ah! Nice. But there's also gore in this movie at the end. I mean, pretty gory. I'll show you one kill. So, like, he basically takes out the guy's heart and he puts it in his hand, I think. At the end, I will only show you the yeah, but there are like a lot of these gory kills. There are a lot of gory kills too. So for the gore hounds, they're also gonna be pleased. Okay, and then of course the horror alumni in this movie, like Zelda Rubinstein, Robert Englund, Scott Wilson is. But actually, thinking horror movies with Scott Wilson, the only thing I'm thinking of is The Walking Dead, which I'll review too at some point, the entirety of the series. It's been a long time that I see that, but for the Bridget Newton maybe, but I don't know her. The wife of Eugene, Scott Wilson, Nathan Beazle, Angela Goodhall. I don't know actually. I didn't know these actors, but Nathan Beazle and Angela Goodhall, Taylor and Leslie Vernon, they really get it out, and they do a great job of acting. The entire cast. And there's even this romantic thing going on or this romantic thing going on between Leslie and Taylor, although romantic or just hugging each other, you know, having a bond. Um, Now, is there something I didn't like? So a con. Those were all pros, but even more pros. But is there a con? It's almost impossible for me to find a con because one of the pros still is the twists that are thrown at you. There's a twist somewhere in the middle of the movie, and there's a super big twist at the end of the movie when they're going the conventional route, and they're basically Leslie's rushing away with multiple weapons, like you see the weird thing and the sight and different things. Um, oh fuck! Is there a the ending? But I can't tell too much about the ending, so I mean, it's it's a sequel ending. Yeah, but that's not a con. It's but we didn't. A con is that we had to wait 20 fucking years for a sequel. Bam, that's my con, and that's the only con I'm gonna give. Watch this movie, and if you know the three member berries, you know, like I said, Friday the 13th, right? That's the first one. I said it. Halloween. That's the most. That's the hardest one, in my opinion. If you don't know I'll yeah, but I don't want to say which. It's an early one of Halloween. And three, the on the campus, you know, the school, I think the college campus. Yeah, it's a campus. Three people. You should see them on the background. Okay, and that's the best I'm gonna give you. Comment if you know this. If you don't, nobody comments. I assume nobody is a real and true horror fan. So, then they're not really horror fans. It's gonna be a little harder for the younger generation, but again, if you're a horror fan, you should know. See you later. See this one. Bye.